Okay, Intrusive are here back with the iPhone with the next section of the Forbes thing. The next article talks about the success of the iPhone XR sales compared to the well, right now, in my opinion, with the iPhone XR sales, I think they're doing way more better because the phone's a lot cheaper than the XS, XS Max, and X, because those phones are those are above $1,000. They're just as much as an Apple computer, less a bit of an Apple computer, but they have kind of the same technologies as the Apple, thing. But it's helping with the services of Apple Music, games, and the video software. But to do the services, they have to have a better bottom line and be able to get to a wider user base. So because of the XR success, those services are getting out to a wider audience of people. So this is a good job from Apple that they're selling the XR way better, so they can get these services out, so people can get pricing for the they get people that they make more of a bottom line, but they make more sales from the services, especially Apple Music now because they discontinued iTunes for the newer iPhones, but older iPhones can still access it. But the major issue right now with Apple iPhones, they're going to get a little bit more expensive because of the tariff in China. And it's going to make the iPhones a lot more expensive because most of their stuff is made in China with the Foxconn plants. And due to the tariff, it's going to make it harder for people to obtain the new iPhones. But if they get their bottom line right and they do deals and sales off their iPhones, then they can make more bottom line from the XR, to the 11R, to the later phones. You have to do these deals like Microsoft, Acer, Xbox, even Samsung are doing with their deals. But here's Tim Cook has decided to forward for Apple was providing based on service to users, like Apple Music. So those services will become priority for Apple in the future, like Apple Music and especially Apple Games, because they showed off a lot of tech with the iPhone XR, iPhone 10s, the iPhone 10, 10s, 10XS, 10R with AR, including with the iPhone 8 and 7 with AR. But it's way better on the 10 and 10R. To the 10 to the 10R models with the AR compatibility with the iOS software. But okay, the next section is on the disruptive iPhone model leaks, iPad Pro leaks. It talks about how it's gonna have various screen sizes, connectivity options, and probably bezel-less displays, like the cell phones are doing. But the major thing I want to cover in this video is about the massive MacBook. Has a ton of detail. Because the MacBook Pro is a big thing for Apple. It has made a lot of money, like the iMac Pro. I think they want to continue that, so they have details on the 16-inch are coming out of the supply chain, or coming out of down the supply pipeline, including details of the bezels or the lack of them. So basically, the bezels are going to be tiny on the next MacBooks. But the major thing I'm going to take away, this is not retaining to this part of the article, that the 12-inch MacBook is dead. They're going to get rid of that model line. But returning back to the article section, is that they're talking about doing bezels, thinning the bezels even more on the Mac Pro, on the iMac Pro, and that's not a big deal. That's not a big problem actually. I think a lot of people like that, but I think some people prefer the bezels, but I prefer that because the way its tech is going, it's gonna get more bezel-less to the point where there's no bezels at all on phones or computers. That's even going on the trends on the Mac, not just MacBooks, but it's going with PC laptops as well with the bezels, and even going to OLED screens on computers, like not just Retina, but to bezel-less OLED, to OLED displays, to OLED for 4K UHD to OLED 4K UHD displays, just like a TV's had 1080p 60, 1080p screens, to now 4K UHD or even SHD to 8K. So Apple's going in the direction of what the tech market is going in now. But also with the MacBook Pro thin bezels, also the new MacBook Air and 13-inch MacBook Pro versions later this year actually, so we might see it. Unclear whether the 15-inch Mac Pro Apple has been selling over the last several years will remain on store shelves or be discontinued. They don't know about that, but they might continue it for another 2 months after the new one's out, and then they take it out to their website and stop selling. They'll still selling it, but they won't sell it online. And really, we're gonna just Apple's quarterly. They're both their key takeaway being the iPhone's contribution over the iPhone revenue of the quarterlies for Apple's numbers. They're falling below 50% because not many people are buying the iPhones right now. Buying the iPhones much due to the high price and leasing of a cell phone with the service provider. A $1,000 iPhone will take 2 to 3 years to pay off. Yeah, just as expensive as a computer from them. So it's not a surprise they have fell below. But that's all I really want to cover in this video. It was about quarterly, the MacBook Pro, the MacBook Pro's bezels, and with the MacBook Air 13-inch models later this year, and also Apple's quarterly numbers. This is Intuitive signing off. The links will be in the description for the videos. Have a good day. This is Intuitive signing off.